TV industry is a trip. I've been watching House of the Dragon. Watched it while it was releasing. Been enjoying it. I was locked in. Not gonna lie, they definitely fumbled the finale. They seem to do that quite a bit. Kind of getting off track here a little bit, but they do seem to kind of fumble their finales a little bit. Their finales don't always seem to really give this come back for more kind of energy. They seem to more so hit on like the pilot, like every other episode. They seem to like really hit you with something strong. Maybe that's a dose of medicine that you're supposed to, take one every 2 weeks type shit. Anyways, only reason I brought them up is because after the finale, it was during or after, I don't remember. After the finale, I went on HBO Max on Max. I think it's Max.com. I don't think it's HBO Max. I don't remember. Play.max.com. Went on Max and I saw this graphic and they were using the show House of the Dragon to sway you into watching other content on Max. And I thought it was so interesting. You go on there and they ask you which one of the characters do you most relate to? Daemon, Rhaenyra, Alicent Hightower. And when I click on it, it takes me to another show and it'll tell me like this character is a lot like Catherine the Great. I think Alicent Hightower's character, if I'm not mistaken, or Rhaenyra. And they were essentially upselling me so that I would go watch another show on Max. Now, I don't know who's in the marketing department. This could be a brand new idea that they just came up with. And bravissimo. Whoever did it, I think that is extremely clever. And I think that was a fantastic idea. But the only reason I'm talking about this right now is because I wanted to say that when it comes to television, you will see where television, films, etc., the industry in general, you will see where the money is going. You will see where the company has their most. You will see where the company is putting their interest wholeheartedly. All right. I was on rap shit and I find it interesting that I was on rap shit. That was like 2021. That was the height or just the tail end of the height of COVID-19. And call me crazy, but I think rap shit was a result of not only their deal with Issa Rae, where, I think she has like a 5-year deal or something like that. But I think rap shit was a DEI kind of show that they were doing for a time. If it works, it works. If it works, it works. There were plenty of times where I heard from writers that, they were cutting scenes because the studio was like, no, we can't afford that. So we got to find another way to shoot that. But when you watch the show, you can tell it's not that expensive. The show's not that expensive. I think there were things that the executives did that might have been a big expense, but the show was not that expensive. So as far as them canceling that show, I understand that show is of different style, a different type of grace, a different type of language per se than House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, White Lotus. But one thing I can say for certain is their marketing team was not working on rap shit the way they were working on House of the Dragon. And if you don't invest in your show in not just an economic way, but also a strategic ass way, it's going to fall short. If you don't push it and sell it like it's a show that you're passionate about, it will fail. It will. House of the Dragon has these behind the scenes. They have a whole other documentary for House of the Dragon that they created. It's called The House the Dragons Built. And that documentary, they're interviewing a bunch of the characters, a bunch of the creators, a bunch of crew, and they're talking to them about the creation of the show. Every episode is like 30 minutes. And they have interviews with wardrobe, with hair, with makeup, the directors and the producers, etc. But the only reason why I brought those hair, makeup, wardrobe, only reason why I brought that up, like it was such a big thing, they treated it like it was. They would spend 6 weeks on one dress, one character. They're going to wear this one dress in 1 to 2 scenes. They would spend 6 weeks on it. Thousands of dollars. How the hell they going to pay for rap shit too? They're shooting the show out in London and Belfast and Italy. How the hell they going to pay for this too? I remember when rap shit first dropped, I went on play.max.com. It wasn't on that top row. It wasn't on there. That recommended for you, it was never on there. It's still not. They've redone this in such a way because there's a specific kind of brand that they do want on here, even up here. Now, this is their website, so they don't really gotta, as far as I know, they don't really gotta pay nobody for this ad. This ain't imdb.com, this ain't amazon.com, this ain't none of those other websites where you gotta pay to play. This is y'all website. And it's not like y'all was releasing 10 different shows when Rap Shit was releasing. And I'm talking season 1 and season 2. Season 2 was worse. Season 2 was worse. They dropped it off. They dropped that show off and went on about their business. It's like they was gonna respond to it if people were gonna respond to it, but they weren't going to invest in it. You dig? Y'all needed to invest in that show if that show was gonna be successful. Let me rack back to me. Tripping. So, like I was just saying, they dropped that show off. Season 1, season 2, they dropped it off even worse. Like, they did not invest in that show. You got to invest in it from jump. They were only going to respond to it if people responded to it. But people respond often to what you are consistent with. I never caught up with Game of Thrones until season 3, season 4. And then finally I was like, what the fuck is this? This shit is hard. But all before that, I'm like, you trying to get my attention with this commercial. You trying to get my attention with this ad. I'm good right now. I'm good. I got 3 other shows I'm watching. I'm not trying to watch that. But you keep on pushing. You keep on pushing. And finally, the homie telling me about it. Because you done got him. You done got her. And now they telling me. So here I am. Now I'm watching. But I remember the show wasn't up there. And I just think I'm not trying to bash HBO or Max. It's not what I'm doing. But I'm making a mental note that you will see what they believe in based on how they invest in it. Barbie. I mean, I watched that film. I'm not really a fan of the movie. I'm not really a fan of the story. If I had a daughter, I wouldn't want her to see it. But they invested in it. They invested in it. They went hard. And maybe that was more so Mattel that did that. Maybe Mattel and Max were both like, or Mattel and Warner Bros. were like, okay, we can see what the return would be on this. And I get that. Because with a show like House of the Dragon, there's a built-in audience, you know, as opposed to a show like Rap Shit that's really about rap and then these girls and then Miami. Miami isn't even the most talked about town as it pertains to television. What shows you see about Miami that are just hits besides Dexter? And they took Dexter up out of Miami. Besides Ballers, and they took Ballers up out of Miami. But what show you see that's a show about Miami that's a flat-out hit? But yeah, when you have a built-in audience based on IP, based on your book, it's different. Mind you, it's my wife's book right there. Quiet Storms of a Flawda Girl's Diary. She just wrote a short story book. I'm going to put a link in the description below. Who knows, in the future, perhaps there'll be an opportunity where she'll get her book or some of the short stories in her book. She'll get them optioned and there will be some kind of opportunity there. Who knows? But what I do know is when there's a book in the picture, there's a built-in audience because all these different people have found it. They know how to respond to that more than anything. They respond to need. The market responds to need. If there isn't any need, there might not be a market. And I mean, while I was on Rap Shit, I can't even really say that the Haitian community was coming out and really supporting the show. For all I know, they didn't even know about it. But I think they did know about it, actually, when I think about it, because I remember there were people who would comment on my Twitter and say stuff like, is he even Haitian? Or, man, his Creole sound forced. There were people that I would run into here in Los Angeles. And as opposed to them really being happy for me, they really more so was, I don't want to say upset, but more so questioning me because I found an audition that they didn't. But I do believe wholeheartedly that had we marketed in a different kind of way, had we marketed where we didn't just market for some reason, the marketing seemed to only be about the 2 lead girls. It seemed to only really be about women in general. It seemed to be marketing based on this bad bitch renaissance. That's a cool concept, but I don't think that's that popular unless there's another draw to it. Like Entourage, in my opinion, worked because it felt like those guys were dropped in Los Angeles and they were dropped in the world of Los Angeles, so much so where the real 50 Cent is on the show. The real Snoop Dogg, if I'm not mistaken, was it Snoop? Maybe not Snoop, but the real Kanye is on the show playing themselves. And it just feels like, are these niggas really in LA? So now you got a show like this, and okay, great start, but what you comparing this to? Star? Queen Latifah was on Star. So there's a big name, big draw as far as why this musical works. You want to talk about Empire? You got Taraji P. Henson, Terrence Howard. Pretty big draw as far as names go. So for us, marketing wise, we're just selling the girls. That's cool. But ask yourself, is this really enough? Ask yourself, is that really enough? I think because it was about Miami, because it also had a Haitian in Miami, it was already niche. So I would have loved to have seen HBO Max reaching out to Haitian outlets, Haitian markets. Sure, there's some haters, but those were the immediate haters. There's always going to be immediate haters. I think you're going to get immediate haters before you get fans and an audience, which is also why sometimes you got to let a show ride. Sometimes people aren't really going to be invested in it right away, but you got to keep investing in it. At least enough to put it on the top page of your own website. But maybe it was just me. Maybe when one of you who are watching this video went on HBO Max at that time while the show was out, you saw it and it was on the front page. But I never saw it on the front page. Not right away. Not until after I went and searched for it and watched it once, twice, and added it to my list. Was it on my page? But this is your store. Why not put in the front window what you're selling? Why not have a designated space for what you're selling? So yeah, it's fine. It's quite the learning experience, but beyond interesting to see how they sell House of the Dragon, how they invest in House of the Dragon, and did or did not invest in rap shit.